Deep in a forgotten forest, young Yaduvanshi princes stumbled across a crumbling ancient stone well. Peering into the pitch-black pit, they saw it wasn't empty. Resting sluggishly in the shadows was a grotesque chameleon, a reptile so impossibly large it looked like a monster out of a nightmare. The boys tried to pull the creature out, hauling on heavy ropes and leather straps, but the beast was unnaturally heavy. No matter how hard they pulled, it wouldn't budge. Word of the strange, unmovable beast quickly spread, eventually reaching Lord Krishna himself, who traveled to the edge of the pit to intervene. Without hesitating, Krishna reached down into the dark well. The moment his hand made contact with the cold, scaly skin of the beast, the reptile instantly vanished in a burst of light. In its place stood a radiant, weeping man draped in the heavy silks and jewels of royalty. Standing before them is King Nrig of the great Ikshvaku dynasty. He is a figure defined by his historical reputation as the most prolific philanthropist to ever walk the earth, which poses a rather uncomfortable question. Why would a universe governed by karma condemn a man whose entire legacy was defined by extreme charity to suffer for centuries as a reptile at the bottom of a dry well? To understand what went wrong, we have to go back to the golden age of King Nrig's reign. The scale of his charity was staggering. He regularly decorated millions of healthy cows with gold and jewels to donate them to holy men. Handling that volume of livestock requires serious infrastructure. The Royal Gaushala, the king's cow shelter, was a massive, chaotic administrative hub, working constantly to process endless waves of donations. But one afternoon, a single cow belonging to a local Brahmin wandered away from its pasture and drifted toward the palace grounds. This visualization of the royal herd illustrates the problem. Among thousands of animals, that one stray cow slips right past the gates, entirely unnoticed, and blends into the sheer mass of the king's property. The royal servants, overwhelmed by the task of managing millions of animals, simply had no way of knowing this specific cow didn't belong to the king. A few days later, that exact stray cow was officially processed, decorated, and given away as a royal donation to a completely different Brahmin. Without a single drop of malice, a microscopic administrative oversight had silently triggered a severe karmic violation. The king had accidentally stolen from one holy man to pay another. The error came to light in an explosive argument on the street. The original owner spotted his missing cow being led away by a stranger and immediately demanded it back. The second Brahmin dug his heels in. To him, this animal was a sacred, legally binding gift handed down directly from the king. He completely refused to give it up. Unable to settle the dispute, both men marched straight into King Nrig's throne room, demanding royal judgment over the rightful ownership of the cow. The king immediately realized what had happened. Horrified by the mistake, he folded his hands, admitted full responsibility, and assured them it was entirely unintentional. Desperate to fix the error, the king threw his vast wealth at the problem. He offered to give the first Brahmin 100 premium cows in exchange for the disputed one. When the man refused, the king raised the offer to 1,000. But the negotiation hit an absolute brick wall. The first Brahmin only wanted the specific cow that was taken from him, and the second absolutely refused to surrender what he considered a divine royal blessing. The king's immense wealth was suddenly useless. He was locked in a spiritual paradox, unable to satisfy either party, proving that you cannot simply buy your way out of a broken karmic law. The unresolved guilt hung over the king for the rest of his life. Eventually, he died and found himself standing before Yamaraj, the cosmic lord of justice. Here, King Nrig learned a terrifying reality about karma. It operates as an absolute, uncompromising mechanical law, detached from human emotion or intent. This diagram shows how the cosmic ledger actually works. Notice the rigid barrier between virtue and sin. They are mathematically isolated. Even as the king's virtue column fills up massively, towering off-screen, that one tiny sin remains entirely intact. They never cancel out. Yamaraj looked at this highly unusual balance sheet and presented a chilling choice. Will you suffer the punishment for your single sin first, or enjoy the massive rewards of your virtues first? King Nrig, a man of profound honor, chose to face the consequences immediately. He asked to serve the agonizing punishment for his solitary sin right then and there. And that exact choice is what sent his soul plummeting down into the darkness of that dry stone well, trapped in the body of a giant chameleon until the universe decided his debt was paid. In the eyes of the cosmos, a mistake is still a mistake. The universe keeps perfect records, so never claim another's property as your own, even by accident, because karma will collect exactly what it is owed. If you enjoyed this story, drop a Jai Shri Krishna in the comments below.